Hey friends, my name is Jake. Welcome to Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we've got a product from TS Prof, the sharpening company from Russia that has been making top-notch sharpening equipment for a number of years. I didn't actually look up how many years. I've been using back when I started with them, it was the K02. This is one of the K03s that they have. They've got a number of different iterations. They keep upgrading their products all the time. And so you might find, the same kinds of things upgraded. Today, they've upgraded their classic, well, it's not the classic. The original clamps are not whole milled aluminum clamps, but they made the whole milled aluminum clamps a number of years ago. And now they have the quick clamp. It's a whole milled aluminum clamp that has a toolless use. You don't need a screwdriver to tighten down on the blade all the time. That's what we're going to talk about. No, they're not cheap. TS Prof doesn't make cheap stuff. They make good stuff, and you have to pay the price for it. That's just the way it is. So if you're interested in some good stuff for sharpening, here it is. Now, how many of you guys like sharpening? Okay, there's Bill at the back, Uncle Bill. Grandpa Tony just gave me a little tip of his hat. The rest of you guys are just saying no. Well, I used to be of the same opinion until I got good at sharpening. And one of the reasons I got good at sharpening was I got good equipment. So sometimes you do need to shell out a little bit. I'm of the opinion, and I've mentioned it in the years past quite often, that while I do like low-cost knives, I'm going to be reviewing another budget knife here. This is a Maguiron, and it's not an expensive knife, but I want my knife, no matter how much it costs, to have an awesome edge. And when I learned how to do awesome edges, and I learned that it can be enjoyable, and it can be, using good equipment, once you know how, it'll really, really change the whole game of the hobby for you. And this just helps it make that much more enjoyable. That much. I think that's about 1.5 inches, but that much more enjoyable. So sit back. We're going to go to the tabletop. I'll try not to make this video too long, and we'll talk about these quick clamps. All right, so here is the new clamp. I'll compare it to the TS Prof whole milled clamp. They've got several other clamps. They've got a fillet clamp. They've got some other clamps. But this standard size clamp fits on, their three main systems. Not the Blitz, but it fits here on the Pioneer and on the Cadet and on the K03. The same clamp works on all of them. I like that they've standardized the size of that crossbar that it mounts on. And it mounts the same way. Screw head's a little bit smaller than it was on the whole milled, at least when I got it. Like I said, they're constantly upgrading stuff, so the other ones might be different. Since we're, clamping this on here like this, that's how they made it. You've got your steel screw that goes through there and it threads into the aluminum and works just fine. But they've had to do some changes because, there we go. This new system creates much more torque. I gotta wipe my finger off. Grease on there. This creates a whole lot more pressure when it's clamping down. Why did I not realize my fingers were gonna get dirty here? Let's just rub it into the skin. Just rub it in. All right. Because this system, when it clamps onto something, now I'm getting it dirty, creates a whole lot more pressure just from this lever action. They had to change it. So they put in this, I believe it's brass, maybe bronze, I think it's brass, for the threads, because threads in aluminum are a little bit weaker and than, brass. So they've had to change the screws. The pitch of the screw has changed, but comes apart the same way if you want to take it apart. Unscrew it here. There you go. The threads are a little finer. So that's what they've done to put this together. And you got a set screw right there. Don't even know what size that is. Probably it's 2.5 millimeters, something like that. Not sure. That's not the point. Anyhow, stuff about this. up to 7 millimeters thick. That's just over 1/4 of an inch. So if your knife blades are 1/4 of an inch thick, these will work for that. And you can, can put your knife in there, it'll clamp it. You can go down to 11.5 degrees per side of sharpening angle. So your sharpening stone can come down to, very close to this angle, just a tiny bit up from that. Very few knives get sharpened to 11.5 per side. Not that many get sharpened less than 15 per side. Of course, some do, and this thing can go down to 11.5, and of course up to whatever range your system goes. The K03 can go to a higher angle if you've got the height adjuster, the options for the full height, more than the other ones. But the upper limit isn't a limit of this. That's a limit of your system. But down to 11.5, suitable for just about any type of knife. Works well. It's aluminum, so it's not going to scratch up your knife blade. I did learn something using these aluminum ones though, and you can see I do a lot of sharpening and I don't always clean everything off, so it's a little bit dirty. If you're sharpening and your slurry gets up in around the edge of the clamp, if you don't clean that off, you can get some slurry, so you can get some of the grit from your sharpening stone underneath in here, and that can mar the surface of your knife. If you got a knife, you can mar up the surface here because some grit gets in there. I usually put some tape over top of the knife, some painter's tape, and I clamp on that. But if you keep everything clean, you don't really need that because aluminum's softer than steel, certainly knife steel. What else do I need to say about this? I'm not going to give all the measurements on the screen, but in all the main measurements, they are the same size as their hole milled clamps, so you can use them together if you want to. I did. I tested them, one quick clamp, one hole milled clamp on the same knife. Wanted to see how well it held and stuff. They're the same measurement, same size, same length. They stick out from the bar the exact same length. They're the same thing. So yeah, you're not going to have to worry about any differences in any other kind of changes in how you use it. Same basic system. How much does it cost? It's right now, the day I'm recording this, near late in February, $140 US at tsprof.us. TS Prof has got stores, of course, in Russia, because that's where they're from. They got the US warehouse. They've got a European warehouse as well that I know of. I'm not sure how many other warehouses they have. The other thing that I didn't say yet is this black. This is aluminum as well. It's just a coated piece of aluminum. I think it's a coating. It's like I didn't ask them if it's a PVD coating or something it's something like that. You can also get it in red. If you like, that red accent to pop, you can get this lever done in red if you want. Do you want to see it in use? Of course you do, because I like to do everything in a video. You can also go to the TS Prof YouTube page, and I'll leave a link for it right up here in the corner right now. You can click on that if you want to see their explanation of how to use this. It's a video in English, and you can see what they have to say about this and how it works and stuff in case I missed something. But let's now go to my K03 system and show you. Okay, so I've shown you the differences between the hole milled clamp and the other clamp. Well, I've got both of them on here. Here's the hole milled clamp that I've been using for several years. And here is the quick clamp, and I'll just show you how easy it is. We've got a knife here, decent knife, and let's clamp it up in the system. And the quick clamp, yeah, got stuff organized here. And the quick clamp, well, you just quick clamp it, and it's clamped. This whole thing, I'm shaking the whole table. I can, turn this, everything. That's all it is. If it's not at the correct thickness of adjustment, then you just turn it. That's a little bit looser. That's too loose. That's not holding it at all. So tighten it up. Quick clamp holds it, and it's in there solid. If I want it super tight, I can try it like that, but that's a little too much pressure. This thing puts in a tremendous amount of pressure to hold that on. It doesn't need to be that tight, and so there you go. But if I wanted to use the old clamp, first I got to go, and this is my biggest frustration with sharpening. And because I don't know, with my ADHD, it's just a mess. I keep losing stuff even when it's right in front of me. And, you know, here's a screwdriver, 4mm screwdriver. And, you know, you got to turn it. You know, I'm turning it. I know I'm a little close up zoomed. And once I got it tightened up, there you go. Now what am I going to do with this? If I put it down here, then I'm going to knock it flying when I rotate my knife. If I put it here, you know, it might roll off. And so I put a big magnet on the wall beside me, and it holds my screwdrivers. Problem with that is half the time I don't put it there and I put it somewhere else. You can call it, I need self-discipline and stuff. Well, for me, it's just part of my ADHD. It's just that I can't always remember where I put it, and often I don't. So that's really all it is. It's just a whole lot faster since I don't have to go around screwing this. All I have to do is flip this, take it out. When I want to put it back in, put it down. If I need to adjust it, like I said, you turn it around once and you test it. That's tighter, so that's not going to work. That's where it was. You know, one looser. That's too loose. One tighter. And it clamps and it holds it. And it holds it tight. You know, it's, you know, shaking the whole thing. It's that simple. And like I showed you, black or red. It's really that simple, and it works really well. That's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And remember, friends, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.